ahead and get started in the name of time, but also it's just fun to celebrate, so we want to do that really fast. Welcome to the Teacher of the Year announcement for 2025. I am so excited. I have two jobs today. One is to welcome everybody here at first, and then I get to announce because he gets super teary-eyed. So I can handle those two jobs. So I've done my first one. I have to just give Mr. Sean Beard, our Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, lots of props today. This process, along with a million other things that he does, is a lengthy one that requires a lot of thought and consideration and a lot of respect for the talent that we have here in Sand Springs Public Schools with our teachers. And so I'm always amazed to see those site leaders that get that honor, but then you see the top 5, and then you get to the place where you just don't even know. So any one of them could have been the District Teacher of the Year, I promise you. And unfortunately, the committee, which wasn't me, thankfully, had to select one. So Mr. Beard, take it away.
So I do, I'm not going to lie, she's right. I do get a little emotional at the end when it comes down to like announcing who that winner is. And so about 3 years ago, I just decided that I was just going to hand the mic off to Superintendent Durkee and say, you get to do this. And of course, she loves having a microphone, so she took that honor on. I'm kidding. But I appreciate the comments. I will definitely say it's not something that I take on all the duties. I do have to say the committee that helps to make these decisions does a lot of hard work. They have the grueling task of taking off a day of work twice in the semester and getting fed a lunch of pizza or pasta or something like that, and then having to listen to interviews. So I will say they do a lot of hard work. Joking aside, they do get out of class to do it, but it is a very difficult decision to make. So if you are on the Teacher of the Year committee, could you guys please stand up so we can recognize you? So there are some people that cannot be here today, so I will just show you the list of the people that are on this committee. This is one of those things that when we ask building principals to choose people to be on the various and sundry committees that we have, this is the one that every time I interact with somebody that's on this committee, it is a 3-year responsibility. Every single one of those people say, this is my favorite committee. This is the best committee to be on. And it is great because you get to see all the wonderful things that our teachers do. You get to see teachers from different walks of life and different grade levels. And the professionalism that we see in our candidates is just so wonderful. So I thank you guys for all that you guys do. Is there anybody that's on the end of their 3-year stint that you're sad to go? Barbie. You're on your 4th. Well, you're a past winner, so we let you stay. Yeah, so we let the past winners stay as well. In addition to teachers we have a teacher from each building, and then myself as an administrator representative, and then we also have a board member who serves on the committee. That's Whitney Wagers. And then we also have a member of the community, Tarita Montross. She's also on that committee with us. And then I also have to tell you, all the things that you see out here today, all the prizes that we have set up, I have to say thank you to Jessica Sprague and Jamie Wilson for all of that. So if you guys could stand up, and we'll give them a round of applause. Yes, Jamie, you have to stand up. Jessica does 99% of the engraving for the trophies that we have today, and then Jamie does all the work getting everything together. So I'm the fool that's standing around just talking while she's doing work and saying, do you need help with that? And she's got it, but she's always got it way ahead of time. So thank you guys for all that you do. So to give you a little insight into how we come to this decision, each site every year in the fall nominates a representative to be Teacher of the Year for their site. And it is peer nominated. So everybody that you see here today that is a site winner was chosen by their peers in their building. And then all the nominees are required to at least have 3 years of experience teaching in Sand Springs Public Schools and then plan to be here next year as well. The nominees submit this is the fun part. We tell them that they're a site winner in the fall, and then we say, Merry Christmas, you get to do a giant project so that you can apply to be District Teacher of the Year. But the nominees submit an introduction video that is no longer than about, I'd say, 60 to 90 seconds in length, a short biography outlining their career and their accolades, community and personal achievements, and then 3 letters of recommendation, and then a written response. It has to be a 1-page typed double-spaced 12-point font response, basically talking about how they contribute to the profession. So everybody loves doing that essay, I know. So, and then that's submitted to the committee, and then we meet once as a group when we go through all of those portfolios, and then the committee will whittle down their thoughts. We'll have conversations about each candidate as we go through each portfolio, and then they'll take a deciding vote, and then we'll pick our top 5. From there, the top 5 are scheduled to come in to do interviews, which is really difficult. We did that in this room, and what we did is we lined up tables right across here facing that direction, and then we put 1 chair and 1 table at the front of the room there, and we put them through a series of questions, and it's really kind of intimidating. I know it is, and we do it on purpose. One of the jokes that I make is that I always put a box of Kleenex on the table, and they say, "What's that for?" And I say, "You're going to cry." But oddly enough, this is the first year that we had a couple of people that didn't cry, and I'm like, man, they're stronger than I would be. But so the 5 go through an interview process with us, and then at the end of that, after we've excused our candidates, then we go through the process of selecting our District Teacher of the Year, and that's how we've arrived at this ceremony today. So, without further ado, I want to start by recognizing our site winners. So, as I call your name, what I would like you to do is to come up, and we have certificates for each of you. And on your table, you also have a portfolio that you get to keep that's got your name on it that designates you as Site Teacher of the Year for your school. And we also have some other things that we'd like to give you at the end. So please don't leave at the very end, because there's some things that we just could not lay out. And so we'll give those to you. But after we call your names, if you can stay up here, we're going to get a group photo. Lisa's going to take a photo of everybody together. So our first teacher, Charles Prage Freshman Academy, Gloria Avey. And I'm going to say Glory could not be here today, but if we can give her a round of applause. She is out for maternity leave, so I'm sure she's more excited about that right now. So our next candidate is Angus Valley Elementary, Michelle Beamer. Come on up. Okay, our next candidate, Pratt Elementary, Brittany Blaylock. Next we have from the Early Childhood Education Center, Jenny Caldwell. Next we have from Limestone Technology Academy, Shannon Crutcher. From Garfield STEAM Academy, Kim King. Representing Page Academy, Tulsa Boys Home, and the Virtual Academy, Derek Morrow. From Clyde Boyd Middle School, Gina Myers. From Northwoods Fine Arts Academy, Jennifer Ruley. From the 6th grade center, Shauna White. And from Charles Page High School, Lisa Wolf.
Lisa, can I get like Kristen Arnold, Cassie to come up and get a photo with us too? Carrie's not here?
Okay, guys. So, as I said, from that crew that you just met, we had the very difficult decision of whittling that number down to our final 5. So our top 5 candidates that were announced in early this semester, our Teacher of the Year finalists for this year were Brittany Blaylock, Jenny Caldwell, Gina Myers, Shauna White, and Lisa Wolf. And so along with those interviews that we did with them, I scheduled time and came out to their sites and I visited their classrooms, and I'm sure they loved this part. I videoed their classrooms, and we took some of that footage and we interlaced it with their introduction video that they submitted. So you're gonna get to hear them talking a little bit about themselves, and you're gonna see a little bit about what their classroom life is like. The reason we started doing this is because one of the things that the committee said to me when I first took on this role was, I don't know who that is. I don't know much about them. And so when they only see it on paper, it's kind of difficult to make a decision. So I said, what if I went out to, this is dumb on my part because it just created extra work for myself, but I said, what if I went out to the classroom and I videoed that? So I grabbed my phone, I took my phone, and I just kind of walk around the classroom, and the kids are like, who's that guy? Especially the little ones. They're like, who's that guy? Actually, though, funny thing today, I visited Jenny Caldwell's classroom, and then today she was at the high school in the engineering class, and they were painting bat houses. And somebody said, hi, Sean, to me, and one of the kids looked at me and said, hey, Sean, you know, so they remembered me, or they just heard another person call me by my name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the candidates. You're going to watch their video, and then we're going to have them come up, and then we're going to take a photo with Ms. Durkee, and when we get to the last of the 5, Ms. Durkee will make the announcement of who our big winner is. So first we have Brittany Blaylock, and I got to be honest, when I went to her classroom, I always loved going to the elementary classrooms because I was a high school biology teacher. I always, you know, when you work with 15 and 16-year-olds all the time, it's like, kind of gets to be old hat. But when you go to an elementary classroom, it's always a breath of fresh air, and it was so fun to see. I remember when my daughter was young, and she would bring home this giant piece of paper with her name on it that tells her favorite color and what she's good at. I was like, wow, that's neat. I wonder how that takes place. And I got to see how that works in Miss Blaylock's classroom because they had their student of the day, and they went through all that with her. And so that was wonderful to see, and she does such a great job with those kids. So here is Miss Blaylock's video.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Blaylock, and this is my 8th year at Pratt Elementary teaching kindergarten. I feel so honored to have been chosen to represent my amazing school as Site Teacher of the Year. I graduated high school in 2011 and went on to receive my Associate of Arts degree in Digital Forensics and General Studies. In 2014, I received a job working with a special needs child as their one-on-one para and quickly realized this was where I was being led. In 2015, I met my wonderful husband, Jonathan, and moved to the Sand Springs area in 2017. Being from such a small town, I felt way out of my element, but fell in love with the charming town of Sand Springs and admired how close-knit this community was, and it felt like home. In May of 2017, I received my Bachelor's of Arts degree in elementary education, as well as my kindergarten through 8th grade reading specialist endorsement. I received a job in kindergarten at Pratt Elementary shortly after, and the rest is history. If you were to walk into my classroom, you would be able to tell that I strongly believe in a play-based, hands-on, student-led environment that I am extremely proud of. My students don't only come to school to learn, they come to school feeling safe and loved. I believe that students learn best when they are excited and motivated to learn, but this can only be achieved by building and fostering strong foundational relationships. From singing the name game song to playing with a parachute in the classroom, the giggles and relationships being formed is one of the most important things to me as an educator. I am blessed to be a part of such a wonderful community that has welcomed my family and I with open arms. My kids are proud to be Sandites, and so am I. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I will cherish it forever.
Miss Brittany Blaylock. And by the way, at the end of the time that I had in her classroom, they did the Days of the Week song. And for those of you that don't know, the Days of the Week song is also the Macarena. So that was fun for me to see as well. So, yeah, get a quick picture. I'll let you come up and do that while we take pictures. And I also have to say, by the way, these videos, yes, please. Yes, you get to stand up here the entire time now. I will say, too, the video submissions that they gave and then also the classroom footage, all that was interlaced and put together by Lisa Chittister. So if you guys could give her a round of applause, too. I owe her that. So, okay, so our next candidate no, we're not going to watch that again. Sorry, Brittany. We're not going to make you do that. Our next candidate is Jenny Caldwell from the Early Childhood Education Center. And as I've already said, when I visited her classroom, again, young ones, 4-year-olds, walking into their classroom that day, they were going to talk about lava and volcanoes. And I was like, oh, I'm all in for that. Because, again, I used to teach science. And it was interesting because she has them all around the edges of the carpet, waiting patiently until she pulls out the vinegar and the baking soda and everything and the clay to make the volcano, and then they would all crawl out, she'd go, okay, friends, back on the edge of the carpet. And it was so entertaining to watch them. But again, it's just a testament to how good she is as a classroom educator. She kept them all in control, and they all got to watch the volcano erupt. And then when it erupted just a little bit, she's like, do you want to see more? And they're like, yeah. So wonderful little experience there. So. And this is Miss Caldwell's video.
Hi, my name is Jenny Caldwell. I'm a wife, mom, and Nini. I love to travel and document life through photography. My favorite places are the mountains of Colorado and the beaches of Florida. When I'm not traveling, my happy place is my classroom. I've been teaching in various capacities for about 14 years. My passion is creating a classroom environment where children feel loved, safe, cared for, and valued. My classroom is ever-changing and evolves with the students' interests and needs. My teaching style is a hybrid of Reggio Emilia, inquiry-based, and project approach. I let students' interests and questions about their world around them guide our learning. I feel it's important to give students ownership of what they're learning about. This gives meaning and value to what they're learning. I create open-ended learning spaces where students are free to explore and expand their understanding of what we're learning and challenge themselves and each other to think beyond their current knowledge and make new discoveries. My goal as a pre-K educator isn't just to prepare children for kindergarten. I feel that would be too easy. My goal is to instill in them a love for learning by showing them school is a place to feel loved, to feel valued, to feel cared for, and that their thoughts and ideas matter. Through this, they'll be prepared for all their school years and all their years to come.
Miss Jenny Caldwell. It was not Senior Citizen Day at the ECEC. That was the 100th day of school. And so we had a person that we won't say who was in costume that day. So I watched that earlier today, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a fun moment when we see Susie Phelan in costume. Okay, our next candidate out of the top 5 was Gina Myers from Clyde Boyd Middle School. Gina has had many hats since she's been with us, and she used to be a teacher over at Angus Valley Elementary, and she has taught social studies, she's taught science, and now she's our archery coach at Clyde Boyd Middle School, among other things. And she does such a wonderful job. And I'm saying this about all of them. When it comes to classroom management, if you can keep a group of kids sitting still and quiet when there's bows and arrows around, oh my goodness. The first thing she said to me is, she's like, now you might want to stay back here, not downrange so you don't get shot, And I said, I think I'll be able to do that, because she was mindful of me wanting to get video, but I did not want to get video of arrows coming at me, so I stayed uprange. But she did a wonderful job with them, and you'll see some of that as we go through here. But she has made that program grow, and so we're so happy to have her as part of that program and continuing with our kids. So here's her video.
My name is Gina Myers, and I am so humbled to be considered for this honor. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself and the impact Sand Springs Schools has had on my life. My teaching career with Sand Springs Public Schools started at Angus Valley Elementary, where I spent several years teaching 4th and 5th graders a variety of subjects. The subject to teach was social studies, and my favorite myself and the impact Sand Springs Schools has had on my life. My teaching career with Sand Springs Public Schools started at Angus Valley Elementary, where I spent several years teaching 4th and 5th graders a variety of subjects. I would have to say my favorite subject to teach was social studies, and my favorite activity every year was taking our 5th graders to camp in May to celebrate the end of their elementary school years. Currently, I'm a teacher at Clyde Boyd Middle School, where I moved up to start an archery program and teach yearbook. Our archery program has seen tremendous growth, and we are so excited for its future, as well as the new building on the horizon. A wise colleague once wrote me a note of encouragement, and in it, her words said, "Never get comfortable and always keep growing." I've taken those words to heart and learned to embrace the journey.
Miss Gina Myers. As you guys saw from that video, all those kids were sitting still, and they waited, they took all the right cues to do what they were supposed to do, and it was so great to see some of those kids. There was one kid that he was just a really short, kind of small kid, but very quiet, and then when I watched them all get up to the line to shoot, that kid hit the bullseye every single time. I was like, whoa, that's cool. So great job with those kids. So all right, our next, love Google Slides. Our next candidate is Shauna White from the 6th Grade Center. I have to say this is probably the closest experience that I've had to what I used to do walking into her classroom. She teaches science at the 6th grade. And when I walked in, she was actually doing a project that I remember doing with 10th grade students years ago. And it was around, she did probably a way better job than I would have done. She gave them materials to build. And what was it you were working on again? Insulating devices. Mine was more about the greenhouse effect, but it was still about insulation. And when I taught that lesson, I just threw a bunch of plexiglass and cardboard on the floor and I said, we're gonna make a house and we're gonna try to see how well you insulate that house to make the greenhouse effect. She brought a laundry list of items that they could choose from, and she gave them a specific amount of credits or money that they could spend. And if they didn't spend, when they spent their money on their supplies, if they didn't like what supplies they have, it was too bad. You know, what they had, no buyer's remorse, you just still have to work with it. And it was so great to see what they did with that, and we'll see some of that in this video, but it was a great activity.
I'm Shauna White, science teacher at Sand Springs 6th Grade Center, a title I've held for 4 years. Before taking on my own classroom, I was part of the support staff at Pratt, where I had the unique opportunity to learn from some exceptional educators, taking the best of all of them to help frame my own career. Born and raised in the Kansas City area, my husband and I moved to Oklahoma about 17 years ago. Our daughter began Pratt as a kindergartner, and in 2024, she walked the stage from graduation at Charles Page. Our son is currently in 8th grade at Clyde Boyd. The Sand Springs School District has served my family well for over 14 years. So when the opportunity to give back presented itself, I gladly accepted. And although I earned my education degree many years ago, I began my career late in life. It's a paradigm that helps me connect with students in a way that is unlike others. In the moments when they're struggling or taking a bit longer to grasp a concept, I can say, me too, you'll get there. I know exactly what it is to take the long journey towards something. I watched the struggles of educators during the pandemic and knew I had the skill set to do something positive about it by becoming a teacher. The most important task I have as an educator is to spark curiosity. If I can create those I wonder moments, they're much more likely to learn. If they ask questions and seek out answers or solutions in middle school, they're more likely to become lifelong learners. And by fostering a love of learning, I hope to empower them to build a future where their curiosity is a driving force in shaping a bright future for themselves and our community.
Miss Shauna White. So if you guys saw in that video, there were kids standing at her desk there. They had the list of supplies that they had decided that they wanted to buy, and it was like a barter system. She was like handing them their supplies. There was not a bit of, oh, that's a great choice, or I wouldn't do that if I were you. It was totally about inquiry, letting them make their own mistakes, and I thought that was so wonderful. So not that she was being mean to them. It was helping them learn. It's part of the learning experience. So our last candidate of the day is Lisa Wolf from Charles Page High School. And years ago, I was asked by Ms. Durkee to be the CTE director along with my other duties. And so I had, for a short time there, I was heavily invested in career tech programs at the high school. And so I got to see a lot about what goes on in those programs. And as a career tech educator, Ms. Wolf teaches family and consumer science, which a lot of people back in the day used to call, and you can't say this anymore without getting in a lot of trouble, home ec. But it's not about home ec anymore. Everything about family and consumer science has changed drastically, and I remember that I used to complain about having 2 preps back in the day, but she's probably got 7 preps for 6 classes. I'm kidding, but she's got 4. She's got 4 preps, and she just does a wonderful job with that, and you're going to see that in this video here as she works with her students.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wolf. It is clearly a dress-up day here at school. I am honored to represent Charles Page High School as Teacher of the Year this year. I would like to introduce you to my beautiful family. I've got 4 kids, Hope, Julia, Shane, and Tice. Hope, Julie, and Shane are all proud Sandike graduates, and my youngest, Tice, he is a sophomore here. I actually have him in class this year, which is cool. And then my bonus child, Logan, he is my new son-in-law as of 2 years ago. This is my 19th year as a teacher and my 6th year here at Charles Page High School teaching family and consumer sciences. I'm truly living my dream by teaching family and consumer sciences at this school. My students learn real-world knowledge that will help them to be healthy and successful in both their personal and professional lives, including life skills such as cooking, budgeting, time management, childcare, and decision-making. I also get to teach our Teachers of Tomorrow in my teaching and learning class. I'm a huge believer in hands-on learning, including project-based learning. My students thrive and learn on a deeper level by doing projects, hands-on activities, and guided research. I am so thankful for this honor, especially considering the caliber of educators that I get to work with every single day. I can't imagine doing anything else. I truly love my job. Thank you guys so much for your support. Say thank you, everybody. Thank you.
My name is Reese Wood, and I approve this message.
Miss Lisa Wolf. I didn't know you left that in the video, Lisa. That's funny. As I said, I found something in all of these candidates' classes that I loved, but as you saw from that video, that was the smoothie lab day, and I did get to sample the smoothies, and I lucked out. I got a group that actually did a good job. There was one group, they had a choice of regular milk, almond milk, soy milk. Yeah, and it was funny as she was letting them each choose. The other options got snapped up pretty quick, and then the last group got stuck with soy milk, and they weren't really happy about it. But I had to make sure I steered clear of that one. I didn't really want that, but they did a good job. So, all right. So after seeing all those things that we saw in those site visits, and then interviewing our candidates, our team of teachers on the Teacher of the Year committee had the difficult job of deciding who would be our district teacher of the year. And right now it's about 4:33, and this is an hour-long presentation, so I'm going to go a little longer here and talk about Jenny Caldwell said, oh my gosh. I will say, though, that at the end of these meetings with the teachers that are our final five and the interview process, when we do the vote at the end, the entire committee goes, so who won? And I go, not going to tell you. And we have to keep that a secret. And so the only people that know are myself and Ms. Durkee and Lisa Chittister and then Jamie Wilson in my office. And so we keep a tight lip and hold that to our vest as much as we can. And so without further ado, before I cry,
I need a drum roll or something. I can't let this, I'm joking. Don't do that. But thank you. So I can't let this moment pass without saying a few words myself. I have the luxury of trying to get to know every teacher that I can in the district. These five are exceptional. All of you all are exceptional. I just have to say that up front. Our winner this year, and Sean, I'm going to let you do the honors of the whole, they're over here. You would be hard-pressed to find a person that is more in love with the field of teaching. It's on her face every morning when she shows up at school and greets kids. It's on her face when a newcomer walks in. I don't know what's going on in her gut or in her head or in her heart, but to see her and hear her talk, you would think that there's sunshine and roses every day. And walking in just makes everyone smile when they run into her. She takes her craft very seriously and forever is inviting a lot of us to come and judge this or judge that or look at this, look at that. One of my favorite events of the year, aside from accreditation, I'm joking a lot on that one, but one of my favorite events of the year is the food truck challenge. I've just given it away. But it's an event where she invites us to come in, gives these folks a role, kids in groups, and not only do they learn how to make successful, yummy food from a food truck, but they also learn about building a business and entrepreneurship and how to collaborate with people and a business plan. All those things that would go into the development of what I would call kind of an end of the year project. But I am so proud to announce Miss Lisa Wolf as our Teacher of the Year for the district. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we do have some other things for our candidates here today. Our final five do have some bags with their top 5 district finalists and their name and their site on it. So don't forget to pick those up. And then we also have up here some additional items for the rest of our site winners. And then also for our district teacher of the year, Lisa, this is yours. So. So all of you, this was a very difficult decision for us, I do have to say, but it was a great year to be able to make that kind of decision, because we had so many professional candidates at our fingertips to choose from, and we can't thank you guys anymore for the effort that you put forth to be District Teacher of the Year. So congratulations to you all, and thank you guys for being here.
Cassidy come up